Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BravBros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody. For whoever wants to listen, I'm your co-host, Steel Russell, joined as always by the one and only Part 2 Magoo. What's up, dude?
Just trying to get through this Salt Lake episode. It's pretty long. So I thought we'd break this down into 2 episodes so that you guys get enough content for your holiday week because we care about you.
We care about you, and there's a lot to discuss here. So we wanted to make sure that we had enough time to discuss all topics. We also have our amazing members joining us. So if you want to join in with our live stream episodes, we do one every week. Once a week, we pick a different show each week to cover live, so you can comment along, interact with us. You get the episode a day or two early. So if you want to join in, make sure you join BravBros Members. You can click the link in our Instagram bio or scroll down to the episode description. It's at the bottom there. It is $5 for the month, $50 for the year. You get a monthly Zoom, weekly episodes, and this weekly live stream. So sign up now so you don't miss out on the next one. But we got a lot to discuss, so let's get into RHOSLC Part 2. But I thought the whole group was handling themselves well. I thought people were being sympathetic. They were giving her some space to talk until Meredith asks a very strange question. Do you think he can't be that invested because you're so guarded with him? And Lisa goes, oh, great question. What?
The
That's
idea
a
of
horrible
saying
question.
the idea of saying great question in the middle of somebody opening up about an infidelity is insane to me. That is so weird. Could you imagine somebody just talking about like their spouse cheating on them, and then halfway through it's somebody asks a question and they go, "Oh my god, great question." Why? In support of who?
I
Like,
don't
what are you
know.
doing here?
Todd?
You're supposed to be. I don't care the circumstances of your friendship right now. If somebody that you're friends with is opening up like this, you're not looking to like dig in and try to find out all of the details. You do what Heather does. You try to share and say, "Hey, something similar happened to me. Like, you're better than you think you are. Your value is higher than you think it is. You can't do this and you can't think like that." That's the worst way to look at it. Meredith and Lisa are on the other end, like looking for excuses for Todd, trying to understand Todd's psyche. This isn't time for Todd's psyche. This is time to make sure that Bronwyn's okay. And I don't understand how they missed the mark that badly, except
Even
for what
Whitney
Whitney
calls
says
it
later.
out.
I know. Well,
Like,
what Whitney says later is wild, and I can't wait to talk about that.
well, yeah, we'll save that. But right after this, she points out how crazy it is to respond
Mhm.
that way. Like, yeah, it's baffling. Even if you have questions, just simply say, fuck Todd. We can all agree here, fuck Todd. He cheated
Yep.
on you. That sucks. That's so sad. Don't question her role in it and whether she's guilty of pushing Todd away because she's guarded. You have all admittedly not got to know her. You
Yep.
don't know how she is with Todd. You don't know what this relationship looks like behind closed doors. So for you to sit there and question her role in the cheating, do you think that maybe he's not invested? Shut up, Meredith. You don't know how invested he is or how invested
Yeah.
she is or how guarded she is with Todd. We have no clue. But I do know if you look at the evidence here, okay, rich, stuck up, old, treats his wife like shit. He's probably the one at fault here. Daughter caught him cheating. Again, he's probably at fault here. We're not going to blame Bronwyn
Mhm.
because this old crotchety motherfucker stepped out on her. That's
But
not what we're
also,
going to do.
how do they know? How would Meredith know that Bronwyn is guarded around Todd?
That's my point. They don't know
Yeah.
her. They
They
don't
don't
know
know
the
her at all.
relationship.
No, they haven't taken the time at all to understand what she's doing. They know that maybe now she's admittedly saying she's a little guarded around them. That doesn't mean that she's guarded around her husband.
No, that's very different relationships. A new
Leaps
friend
and
group versus your
bounds.
husband.
Yeah.
But it makes sense when she's like, so, I feel like I'm not accepted at home. I come into this group. I think that Lisa's going to introduce me to a bunch of new friends. She
Mhm.
gets to meet Lisa Barlow TV version, which she's not used to. She knows Lisa Barlow off screen, which apparently is a different person, according to the recounts we're getting from Bronwyn compared to what we're seeing or what we've
Yeah.
seen for 5 years. So it makes sense. She's like, I'm not accepted at home. I'm not accepted in this group. I think I'm going to make friends. Lisa throws me under the bus. I'm looking for support. It makes more sense why she's scratching and clawing like, Lisa, 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 give me your attention, because she feels abandoned once again. So she feels abandoned at home, abandoned by a close friend, and unable to fit into this group. But I thought she did herself a lot of favors in this scene by finally opening up. Again, getting there was nauseating. Like, it
Mhm.
took so long, and we're like, dude, stop pandering to Lisa. Now it makes more sense why she felt the need to, is because she feels so excluded pretty much everywhere in her life. It resonates with Heather, so she gets some support there. And like again, you're starting to bridge some gaps. You're starting to see some friendships potentially blossom. I see here in the comments, Linda said Heather threw Bronwyn under the bus on the Bravo after show, completely two-faced, stabbed her in the back. Ugly to see. I didn't see that, so that's really interesting. And I wonder if we're going to see why as the season plays out. I assume we will, but Meredith jumps in and says, you know, Seth and I had problems when we were separated and we had to redefine our relationship. Maybe he shows affection in a way that you can't receive it. Once again, pointing the finger at Bronwyn. Maybe you're the problem for not understanding this is all he can offer you, and you need to be okay with that. Hey, Meredith, just because your marriage is hanging on by a thread and sucks, and Seth and you do not get along, does not mean you have to just accept a half-ass effort from your spouse. That's not how
Projecting.
marriage is supposed to work. Yeah, don't project you and Seth onto Bronwyn when she's opening up. That's clearly what's happening. It's like you need to be able to receive what he can give. Maybe that's all he can give. That's all Seth can give you. Okay.
Yeah.
We've seen it for 2 years now. We've seen it for longer, but it's been much more apparent. You guys did it to yourselves by starting a podcast called Hanging by a Thread last year. And then we watch you two together. He's traveling all the time. You're miserable. He's fucking miserable. He goes to confessionals and throws you under the bus and says mean things about you. Don't take out your shitty marriage on Bronwyn. It's a bad look. It's a really bad look.
Well, I think it's insane too that we get the complete breakdown of the group where you have even somebody like Britani, who she was just Bronwyn just said something incredibly mean to Britani after she opened up about finally rekindling a motherhood with her daughter. And she went over to go hug Bronwyn. The other two are questioning everything, even when they walk away from the boat. Oh, Todd's not going to be happy when he sees this. Fuck Todd. Who cares?
Who cares?
Why is Lisa thinking about Todd in that moment? Why is Meredith thinking about Todd in that moment? It is so weird. It is bizarre.
Money.
You think it's the money aspect?
Lisa
It's
with the
just
money.
because Lisa's the money aspect.
Meredith because
Meredith
she's miserable
is
at home.
projecting. Yeah, and that's really all it is. And maybe that's why Meredith is the way that she is on these vacations, because she finally gets away from Seth. And that's where they are. Hanging by a thread. That's where we all are.
But no, don't lump me in with them. Do not lump me in with them.
Why not?
Because I'm not hanging by a thread. I'm not. I'm hanging on by a full. That doesn't sound good.
Full rope?
Hanging on by a full rope, but that sounds yeah. But we get to lunch, and it's Meredith and Britani and Lisa, and Britani, who again has zero tactic. Like she's not able to ease into things. She wants to start the conversation. She wants to get a little shady. She wants to call out Meredith and her behavior the night before.
Mm-hmm.
Other people would go about it a different way, but she's just like, so Meredith, how you feeling? You're not feeling good? You're not feeling so good? The reason that I ask Meredith is because last night I heard you crying and throwing up too. Any thoughts, anybody? Like, what the fuck? Like it's so
and it's so funny too, because in that moment I'm thinking, I've definitely seen this before. I've seen this on a lot of different shows. This happens, right?
Yeah.
This always happens, right? But coming from Britani, for whatever reason, it is the funniest version of it. It is so awkward. I want to say it's forced, but it's not forced. This might just be how Britani is. And the way that she operates is bizarre. And it fits in perfectly. You could probably pluck Britani and put her in any franchise, and she would operate the exact same way.
Oh, yeah.
It would be the exact same character. It wouldn't matter. She does not tailor herself to any situation. She is just who she is. And I love it. And I accept it too, because when you're doing that to somebody like Meredith, who is very guarded, by the way, very weird word choice in the last scene, you're forcing her to address it in front of everybody. Everybody's now talking about it. Now, obviously, everybody's already talking about it, but now you're forcing Meredith to address it to Britani, of all people. And that's very funny to me.
I agree. Ryan said a producer told her to say that. Maybe. I don't know. I think she would have delivered that news that same way regardless. I don't know if that was because she was told to do that. I think she's just that awkward when she tries to be a human being.
Yeah. I think the producers just leave Britani go and just let her do whatever she's going to do.
Because what do you guys think? I think you just need to be yourself. Just go be yourself.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You're doing great, hon. But you get a little cut scene, and it's Bronwyn with Angie. And they're talking about the reaction that Lisa had. It's like, am I crazy, or did she not have a reaction? And I thought the group did a pretty good job of breaking down who Lisa is at her core, at least what we've seen on this show. And they point to Lisa, being a little bit shallow, being obsessed with money, and and they
Cut
also use
that.
the example. Shut up. And they also use the example of Gwen's father's parents and the fact that, on one hand, Bronwyn is wrestling with this whole thing of should she introduce Gwen to her grandparents or is that not the best thing for her? On the other hand, you have Lisa saying, well, this family is so handsome and they're so wealthy and they have this big house. And it shows you what Lisa's priorities are. This is why we
Yeah.
thought she was friends with Bronwyn to begin with. This also makes a lot of sense why she's defending Todd and why she's
Mhm.
standing up for Todd and why she's saying maybe you're the problem, Bronwyn. Todd has all this money. I don't think Lisa wants to get on Todd's bad side because then she doesn't get invited to the Palm Springs trips and she doesn't get to tout wealth around. I think that that is such an important thing to her that it shows you kind of who Lisa is. The fact that she can't really listen to other people's problems. You have to listen to her problems. And if you have a problem with Lisa Barlow, the only way you can squash it is if you eat shit and just kind of say, all right, Lisa, I'm sorry, even if you did nothing wrong. And I think that Bronwyn might be finally starting to come to terms with it, or at least understanding, like, okay, the person I thought I knew is not the person that I know on this show.
Yeah, and I think that she needed something like what she just divulged on the boat, where it's something very serious, something very personal, to see what Lisa's reaction was to gauge that. Because up until now, I think that she just kind of had, some inklings that maybe Lisa was a different type of way, and her priorities were in a different order than hers, and she's not putting her friendship first; she's thinking about other things. Once you open up like this and you let that information out and you see somebody who you thought was a true friend react that way, I think it changes all of your thinking. It confirms a lot of your suspicions and immediately starts to change how you think about your friendship, how you think about Lisa as a person. And I think it opens her up to so many different things. And I think that's what we're seeing now, because obviously on all the after shows, it looks like Brahman and Lisa are just completely at odds. Brahman is completely taking the tape off and she's just going right after Lisa for every little comment that she says. So I'm not surprised by any of this. We're seeing this in real time.
Which I think that she has every right to take that approach now. And I think it's interesting that Whitney says those two are projecting
Mhm.
because there's been rumors of infidelity surrounding their marriages. Lisa's had rumors in the past. Obviously, Lisa spread rumors about Meredith in the past.
Yep.
Obviously, Seth and Meredith are not doing great. So Whitney's like, oh, I think they're projecting. So that's interesting. And that's also what's going to happen when you take this approach via Lisa and Meredith. Is like, okay, well, now you guys just called yourselves into question because now
Yeah.
Whitney's questioning whether or not you guys have cheated simply because you guys couldn't in the moment say, fuck you, Todd. Like, it's such a simple thing. If somebody tells you that their spouse cheated on them, even if you have questions, save the questions for later when you're gossiping in a room.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and go, what did you do wrong though? Why
Because
did why did
the
you
whole thing would have been so different too if they had taken a stance, or if at least Lisa took a stance of, oh, what the fuck? That's so fucked up by Todd. Are you okay? What's going on? And then walked away from the boat and said Todd's not going to be happy. We'd be looking at that in a completely different light. We'd be
Yes.
looking at that like, oh yeah, we know. If Todd sees that, he is not going to be happy. We understand, Lisa. We get you. But when you don't take Brahman's side and you do sort of start to make excuses for Todd and then walk away and say that, it's like, what the fuck, Lisa? Like, why are you still thinking about Todd? This is insane. And now you're doing it under your breath to Meredith as you walk away. It confirms everybody's suspicions.
It's all about that money, all about
Oh,
that
yeah.
cash money. But we get a really, really amazing, awesome, wonderful scene with Mary and Robert Jr. And they're packing up, getting ready to send him to treatment. And it's his decision. He's ready to do it. And as I've talked about, and I'm going to keep talking about it every time, I don't care if you're getting tired of it because it's so fucking important. But it's incredible to see Robert be ready to take this head on, be confident. And I don't know him and I'm severely proud of him. I think that it's such a difficult step to accept that you need help and to do
Yeah.
it on TV to show this vulnerable moment of actually going is so powerful because, I won't go into my story of going. It was not nearly as beautiful of a scene. But that is a moment that anybody that has gone through treatment or rehab, you never forget the day that you go
Yeah.
and how daunting it is and terrifying. And the fact that he is smiling and giving her a fist bump, saying that the trajectory feels like it's only going up from here. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, that's such a powerful mindset to have going in, which is probably why he's doing so well now. He went into it with the right headspace. Mary, all the credit to her for how she handled this whole thing, because it's such a difficult road to navigate that I don't even fault parents that don't do it this well, because people don't know what to do. You go into panic mode. The fact that she was accepting of him, the fact that she was patient, listened to him, supported him, the minute she found out something was wrong, was like, here's the next steps. This is what we're doing. And they did it. They didn't wait. They got him somewhere. That's what you're supposed to do. Don't hesitate. Just fucking pull the trigger when he's ready to do it. I'm so glad that we got this. Payoff seems like a bad way to say it, but watching this trajectory throughout the season of, early on we were skeptical of these scenes because we didn't know, given Bravo's history of portraying substance abuse, how they were going to do with this.
Right.
So to watch them take us through these dark scenes with him and his girlfriend, they're clearly under the influence, get to that heart-wrenching scene where he finally talks to his mom about it, to get to this scene, which is so full of hope, so incredible, so inspiring. And they showed it to everybody to show and humanize and say, look at this kid that's about to go take on the hardest thing of his life, smiling, happy, a different person than we saw laying in bed, eating, or having his girlfriend feed him because he's barely coherent at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, it just paints the picture of what this shit does to people, what we can do when we get away from it, and the inspiring stories that come from it. And I think that they did such a great job of handling this. I'm so proud of both of them. I think that they should both be proud of themselves. And the fact that he's doing well now is just exceptional. And it was such a feel good moment for me. I'm really going to cry right now. What the fuck? Like, it's not even that sad. It's just,
Sneaks up on you.
It was really cool. And to see him in that moment, like I said, for me, that was one of the scariest moments of my life. I shook the entire way when my parents were driving me there, but to see him so confident and poised was just so impressive. And I'm just proud of him. That was really cool.
Yeah.
You're
all right.
I'm fine. I heard if you look up, you don't cry. I'm testing that out.
Who said that?
I don't know. It's working. So just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. But anyway, Mary gets to Puerto Vallarta, and she says she has to go to the bathroom, so I think she has to drop a deuce. I get it. When I travel, first things first, you gotta empty the tank so you can start from scratch. Meredith goes, "Why didn't you come yesterday?" And she was like, I was like, and then I was like, I came. I was like,
"Yep,
go, yeah, yep."
Who cares?
and by the way,
don't tell her,
because she's Mary, everyone's gonna be like, okay.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, that's
See
fine.
you, Mary.
Yep. Okay. That's just Mary being Mary. But the scene with her and Angie was so touching, and the fact that she found support in this group genuinely. And that's what, again, I think Angie's just a nice person. So when push comes to shove in the group and you're taking sides, I'm going to lean towards Angie every time, because I'm like, I think deep down, she's just nice. Yeah. And to see the connection she has with Mary, knowing what Robert's going through, I thought it spoke volumes that she didn't say anything. She just gave her a hug, said, "I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy." And Mary's like, "Oh, I feel so supported." Like, that was genuine. That was real. That was a good moment. So I'm happy for Mary. I'm happy for Robert Jr. And it's just,
I like
really
their friendship. I like Angie and Mary's friendship because it's one of the actual genuine friendships that we see on these shows. We question friendships all the time, but this one actually seems real because Mary is a very guarded person, right? Mary's a person that's not going to just divulge all of her information, all of the personal things that she's going through. We saw how hard that was. She met with Meredith and just immediately walked out as soon as the tide turned. She's like, "No, I'm not going to have to deal with this. I've got enough going on." But she trusted Angie to talk to her about all of that. And Angie sat there and listened. She didn't start to give advice. She said, "You know what? It's always going to be different and it's not your fault." She was an actual good friend to lean on. So seeing the two of them reunite after what Mary just went through was awesome.
Yeah, it really was. It was very touching altogether. But if you thought we were almost done, you're wrong, because now we got the dinner scene, which was fucking nuts. And that's like my point. I just have so many goddamn pages. But we get to dinner, and it is an advertisement for Vida Tequila, the best tequila in the world.
Did we need the pictures of all of the plants and the production?
I understand how tequila's made.
Nope.
Yep, I understand how tequila's made. We didn't need that.
What about mezcal?
I
Still
didn't
pretty
know.
new to America, so I'm not
It's
really
brand new.
sure if
Thanks
you
to
know.
Aaron
Yeah.
Litchie. Not I, but you can try mezcal in the States. You can thank Aaron for that because no one had heard of it till then. It was
Nope.
this mystery liquid only found in foreign countries. Woof.
Woof.
That's so good. That's too funny. But I do think it's interesting. And I've heard people say this before. Vita's not easy to find. Like you don't go to stores and find Vida tequila. And
No,
I would ask our audience to prove me wrong. If you've seen
might
it in a
be like a
store,
West Coast thing.
that's what I'm thinking, or maybe like a Utah thing, like which I don't know how liquor sales are doing in Utah, but I'm just
Surprisingly well.
all the Britneys, all the closet drinkers,
Yeah.
all those Mormon 2.0s are
Yeah.
really, really thriving there. But I am curious, like, has anyone seen a Vida tequila bottle in the wild? That's a question for the comments and for
Yeah.
people listening at home. If you have a bottle or if you are shopping and see a bottle, please take a picture and send it to us because I would love to see it. But the dinner service comes out. Everyone's getting their caprese, as Lisa says, salad, their
Pastrami.
caprese salad. Mary didn't get her pastrami soup, and
Nope.
immediately my mind went to, okay, how would we do this?
Pastrami soup.
Yeah. Is there a way to make a pastrami soup good? I think I came up with it. So
Okay.
it's a cabbage, it's like a vegetable broth with like a lot of cabbage. So it's almost like
Yeah.
a slaw. And then you can put some pieces of pastrami in there. So it's almost like a pastrami sandwich. You can even have some like croutons in there to mimic the bread.
Yeah.
That's where my brain went when I'm trying to put this together because I don't think that it sounds gross, but I think you
doesn't
could pull
sound
it off. I think you
gross.
could pull it off.
I think you could pull it off. I think it could be a thing. I wouldn't eat it. I would never
I
order
would
it.
try it.
I would try it.
I would try it.
I think you could do it. Yeah.
But it was actually stroganoff from, I think it's minestrone is what
It was
we ended up
minestrone.
with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's what we ended up on. But Brittany asked Meredith again, how you feeling? How you feeling, champ? Because I heard you crying. Heard you crying in there. What's going on?
Crying and barfing.
You big crybaby? You big crybaby barfer?
Were you crying because you were barfing or barfing because you were crying? What's that about?
Both? Either or? I don't
A
know.
little bit.
But you know what she definitely wasn't crying about?
Slut shaming.
Slut shaming. Are you fucking serious? So I just thought about the slut shaming and it upset me and I cried. I'm fine now.
That's what I'm talking about. By Brittany doing this and forcing Meredith to answer, that's what we get out of Meredith. That's not what you were crying about.
That's not a good answer.
No, it's a terrible answer. There's no chance that that's what you were crying about because you and Angie squashed it the night before. And I'm pretty sure you didn't really care that much. If you really cared about the slut shaming, maybe you would have cried the next morning when you were talking to your family about it. Maybe you would have made a bigger deal. It's like a week later and you just squashed it the night before. You're not crying about that. What are you crying about? What's going on?
About? Why are you crying about Seth? Let's be real here. Like, get the fuck out of here. We know what you're crying about.
She got a text that Seth had to go back to Ohio. She's not even with him, but she's just crying because he's going to Ohio. She just hates Ohio.
She has an anti-Ohio tattoo on her arm. Just Ohio with a big X through it. But yeah, you're not crying because of the slut shaming thing. That's crazy to say. You bring it up. So now Angie has to defend herself. Now, I was confused by the breakdown when this started to fall apart because it sounded to me like Lisa was saying, let's let Meredith explain herself.
Yeah.
Which would somewhat be in support of Angie, no? Because that's Angie's problem right now is that Meredith's not answering for herself when Angie's like, I thought we were cool. What happened?
I think that's what it was. That's how I took it.
Thought.
But I think that Lisa's stuck in this little situation now where she feels like people aren't getting enough time to talk, which is possibly the most Lisa thing ever. That we're not giving people enough time to actually talk through everything because that's what she wants to do. So I think that's where she is. And maybe this is Lisa that we're talking about here. She wasn't listening in the first place. So she doesn't really know what's going on and doesn't know what the fight's about. But she knows that her friend Meredith isn't getting time to talk about it. So let's give her a chance to chat here. Meredith doesn't want to talk. She does not want to continue to talk about this because she lied. Why do you want her to talk more? Lisa has no idea what's going on. That's the only answer for me. She was not paying attention.
Maybe. It was very strange to me. But then Angie tells Lisa, we talked about this before. I said, butt out, stay out of my situations. Stop getting involved. I don't think she was doing it in a negative way, but there has been multiple conversations of butt out.
Yeah.
Like, stop getting in the middle of it. So I didn't hate that Angie kind of went off on her, but then Lisa, it's like, you don't tell me what to do and what not to do. And this is what bothers me when Lisa gets into arguments, is that she will antagonize.
Yep.
She goes, what are you going to do? That's a threat to me. That's a challenge. If you say that to me in that tone, you're talking my man all wrong. You do it again, it's the wrong tone. So if you talk to me like that, I'm going to come back. And she does. And she's like, I don't like the way you're talking to me. It's like, you started it. Like, I know that the whole situation's weird because I think that you were trying to say, all right, time out. Let's let Meredith explain, which would have helped Angie out to force Meredith to talk. But at the same time, when it started to break down, you said, what are you going to do? That's a challenge to me. So then Angie gets ramped up. Then you say, I don't like the way you're talking to me. And then Angie says, you always get in the middle of everything. Why don't I lunge at you? Why don't I take a page out of your book and I'll lunge at you? What, you feel like a badass right now? You feel like a badass. And I think that Angie's read is almost perfect because she's like, what? Because you want to be in charge. So like if I come at you or try to have a conversation with you, it means I'm a badass. I want to be a badass. Because again, your only issue is that you don't like that I'm not agreeing with you. Oh no, that's what Lisa says. There's so much happening.
I know.
So much happening. Lisa says the only reason you're upset is because you don't like that I'm not agreeing with you. And then Whitney points out, and Whitney's on task too, and she makes a lot of sense. She goes, it's interesting if it's your feelings. We should all care.
Did you catch that Whitney actually did? She said feelings twice, but then she said feel, not fill.
I didn't.
She might be getting better.
Choice?
I don't know. Maybe it is a choice.
Maybe she forgot to do it.
Is feelings different than feel? Do you not feel feelings?
You can feel your feelings when I get feelings.
But do you feel your feelings?
Do you feel your feelings or do you feel your feelings?
Oh, ooh. No, you feel your feelings. Yeah.
There's a t-shirt. Yeah. I haven't had a good t-shirt in a while.
Yeah,
you feel your feelings or feel my feelings?
Good
That's
t-shirt.
A great t-shirt. Somebody else make it because we're not going to. We need to try to start making t-shirts.
We do.
At some point. That's on the docket for 2025, everybody. Don't worry. But it's a good point, pointing that out, saying when it's your shit, we're supposed to care. When it's our shit, we're supposed to fall in line. That's not fair. Lisa calls her a victim, says that she's a lying bitch. Bronwyn jumps in, and then Lisa's like, I'll get to you next, Bronwyn. And again, it's like, oh, what do you think you're the HBIC around here? Like, you're just like picking and choosing who you're going to battle with. Everyone starts to really go in on Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
This shows you who Lisa thinks that she is, because she says to Bronwyn, I've been a good friend to you. I've been a good friend to all of you. I'm like, you have not been a good friend. You have not. The conversations that you think you have with people that are deep and meaningful are always about you.
Yep.
We've seen it time and time again. Again, unless something's happening off camera that we're not privy to and you're a totally different person, all of the conversations, the hearts to hearts that we see that involve Lisa Barlow are Lisa Barlow centric. They're not about the other person's feelings. And the only way that the other people can get on the same page as Lisa and get her to hear one thing, you get like one chance for Lisa to hear out of the 10 issues you have, she'll listen to one. After you listen to her vent for 30 minutes and you say, you know what, Lisa, I'm sorry. I'm upset because of this. And she'll go, oh, okay, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. And then you move on. So the fact that everyone seems to have turned and they're like, no, you know what? My turn to air out a grievance with Lisa. It's my turn to air out a grievance with Lisa. And everyone starts going in on her. She starts crying and Mary's like, why are you crying? hey, you big baby.
Where's my dessert? Where's my dessert?
Where's the dessert? Why? What are you crying for? Like,
but that just shows you too where Mary is, because Mary just went through something very real, very traumatic, very actual personal issues. Mm-hmm. Lisa's just crying because everybody's going after her. Why would they go after me? What have I done?
Because
it just shows you how there's just no self-awareness there. She's got nothing.
There's none. And when Angie, look, I know Angie was taking a little bit of a dig here, but again, it's more about Bronwyn than it is about Lisa, because she's like, Bronwyn opening up today, I know more about her than I know about you, Lisa, and I've known you for years. I just met Bronwyn. And Lisa's response is, what? I wrote that down. It was 4 whats.
Yep.
What? I talk to you all the time, Angie. I talk to you about this. I talk to you about that. it's all surface value, I'm assuming, and it's all one-sided conversation. So you're not going to connect on that deeper level because you're not allowing Angie to respond in kind. You're not listening to her problems. So she's not going to sit there and listen to you vent about it's probably horse shit.
Yeah.
It's probably some nonsense about a Vida Tequila event that went awry. JB husband boss bought the wrong plates or something, and you're venting about that
Oh, those
shit.
events don't go awry because she changes where the plates are by a couple millimeters.
Angles. It's all about angles.
All
It's just
about
all
angles.
about
Where's the
those
sun?
angles. My biggest takeaway from all of this, okay, for Lisa Barlow, if everybody you know has given you the same issue that they have with you, it seems like it's a recurring theme. Everyone says you don't actually share and open up. Everybody says you don't listen to their problems. Everybody says that you're selfish and self-centered and live in your own world. You respond to this the same way every time. I'm Lisa Barlow. This is how I am. If you don't like it, go away. If this is a recurring theme, there is a common denominator here. Everybody in the group at some point or another has had this same problem with you. Somehow, in Lisa's mind, it's still not her fault. Did they come at you hard this dinner? Yeah. Was it a little bit too much? Potentially. Did you handle it great? No. And then you act like so blindsided by the same information being relayed to you that people have been saying for 5 years. And she's like,
Yeah.
where is this coming from? Where do you think? We watched you ask JB husband boss a question in person. And as he went to answer you, you're typing on your phone and you look up and say, what? He's responding to you, but you don't have time for him. You don't have time for anybody else. All you have time for is yourself. And people keep telling you. And yet you're still baffled that anybody would say this about you. There's a reason. Look in the mirror. I like Lisa. I like her on TV. I don't think she's a horrible person. I think she's way too stuck up and lives in her own little bubble and just can't get out of her own way and be like, oh, if 40 people have said this to me, maybe I need to change something.
Sometimes I just look at Lisa, especially in a situation like this. Nothing that they're saying is like groundbreaking. There's nothing earth shattering going on here. Why wouldn't you just sit there? Like, why do you need to get up and walk away? It's not that crazy. They're not coming after you for anything crazy. You could sit there and say, hey, single file line. What's your issue now? Just be sarcastic to them. That would be funnier. That would be so much better. Instead, you get all worked up and run away from your own Vida Tequila commercial.
She's going home.
Just going home. Supposedly.
I don't
Probably
have a
not.
first class ticket that late.
That's a good point. No, there's also no chance she's going
Puerto
home.
Vallarta?
Yeah, no, and they're still there next week too. So there's no way she's going home.
I didn't think she was going home either. I wish that in these moments, like again, yeah, the pile up's not fun. I'll give you that.
Sure, yeah.
But everyone keeps saying the same shit to you. Different trips, different seasons, different people, different cast members, people that have come and gone from the show have said the same thing. It's not rocket science. Maybe change something just a little bit, tweak it.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be that different because you're so entertaining. You're great for TV. You are Lisa Barlow up and down. There's a lot of good things that come with that. But these are your shortcomings. And if you can, like the fact that she can continue to deny is just, again, baffling.
Yeah. But funny.
Funny, but mind-boggling and mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Whew. But yeah, that was a doozy.
Yeah,
that was a doozy of an ep, let me tell you. But as promised, we don't have questions from our Instagram. We have questions from our audience. All of you BravBros members that have joined us live, get those questions ready and fire away, and we will answer as many as we can while I sip on my delicious bubbly burst.
Oh yeah.
From Miranda Erickson. Do you think Lisa and Meredith's time on the show is limited because everyone will get tired of their zero accountability? It would get tiring trying to be friends with them. No, because it's not like that's a new type of housewife. You know, we've seen that across a lot of shows.
Yeah.
There's some that don't take accountability. I don't think that,
and they're still very entertaining in their own ways too. So
they do enough
until that weirdly stops, which it could at some point. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that they do enough in their own wacky ways. Especially Meredith. Like only Meredith can do what Meredith does.
Yep.
From Mary Jo Stockton, do you think Mary got her dessert? God, I hope so.
Yeah. What do you think she got? Pastrami pie?
Soup. Ah, we were so close. We were so
Mm.
close. We almost had it.
Well,
We
at
both
least
said
mine was
pastrami.
dessert.
Is it
Dessert.
though? That
Is it
sounds like
though?
some weird thing you got in London.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Oh,
like a meat
dude. Yeah.
pie? Please, sir, may I have some more? Oliver Goots. It's late. We've been doing this for a while. Okay. Let's see. Who's recording in the next episode in the van?
I think it's Britani.
Oh, on the phone.
I think it's
I
Britani.
thought you were talking about us, Max. I was like, I don't have a van, but we could
We'll
record in
get
there, I
one.
guess. Los has a van.
Yeah, we could use his.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I
think it's
think it's Britani. You think? I thought I saw her in the video.
Not that I saw.
Britani, Whitney, or wild card Mary.
No chance.
Now Meredith
Mary.
wouldn't talk like
No.
Mary like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I would say, yeah, the chat seems to agree that it's probably Britani.
Yeah.
That'd be a Britani move.
I'm just thinking of like who doesn't have the decorum, and it's Britani.
Britani. She wouldn't even know she's doing something wrong. She's probably like, Jared, look how much fun we're having. Are you filming? You can get out of here. Whatever the fuck that is. That's a classic Meredith line.
Oh, yeah.
You can leave. She sounds like Gandalf. You shall not pass. I guess Sean Connery plays Gandalf now. What else we got? Oh, yeah. Great question from Michael McClellan. What's the point of Millie being a friend? Miley being a friend of? She hasn't filmed in weeks. Not sure why she got a cast photo. We don't know. Even when she's been on the show, she hasn't done anything.
Apparently, she was doing problematic things on her social media, so they cut her out.
Ah, there you go, Michael.
That's
a pretty cut and dry answer. All right, fair enough. From Ryan Stoneman, aka Tamra Stoneman. Do you think Britani will get a snowflake next season? She damn well deserves one, Ryan.
I think she stays a friend of. I think they keep
Really?
the cast the same, and then they keep her as a friend of. Yeah,
I think they just bump it up to one more housewife, put her on.
yeah. Who's to say
Especially
they
if
won't?
if she's officially with Jared O, they're gonna want cameras on that, and so will Jared. So that's a full time.
Jared will, yeah, which takes the cameras away. It's a real paradox. No, I'm gonna say stays friend of.
I think she will get a snowflake, so we will see. Julie Harp says, "Oh, Ryan, I hope not. I haven't done one of these in a while." From Candy Fardo. Hopefully, I pronounced that right. Power rank the ladies. Ready, go.
Top to bottom, I'll go. Probably, Mary. I'm gonna go Mary, Lisa, Meredith, Heather, Bronwyn. No, Heather, Angie, Bronwyn, Whitney, Britani.
Really?
Yeah, Britani doesn't really count necessarily because she's not a snowflake.
Interesting list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Angie, Mary, Lisa, Britani. We can count her.
Yeah, all right.
Angie, Mary, Lisa, Britani, Heather, Meredith. Who am I missing? Whitney. Whitney's always kind of floating. Bronwyn's somewhere in the midst there. Bronwyn's higher than that. I would go last try. Angie, Mary, Lisa, Bronwyn, Meredith, Heather, Whitney, Britani. Fuck.
You keep forgetting someone.
Britney's in the middle somewhere. Yeah,
go to the next question.
Yeah, go to the next one. Go to the next one. From Carmen Nelson, which RHOSLC couple would you and your wife girlfriend choose to go on a double date with?
Oh no.
Oof, McGoof. Probably Angie and Sean.
Lisa and JB.
I feel like JB would be easy to get along with.
Yeah, Lisa and JB.
You know
Meredith
what?
And Seth.
No, God, no, you couldn't pay me to go to that dinner. I would I think on a one-off, just like one dinner, not like a recurring thing, a recurring friendship. I think Whitney and Justin would probably be fun.
Yeah, probably.
Just for like a not a prolonged friendship, but like a one-night dinner. I think they'd probably be fun.
Yeah, but I feel like they're probably swingers, and I'd get uncomfortable.
No, just wear your pineapple shirt and see what they say, and then you can read the situation immediately.
Good point.
If they're like, hey, you can be like, nope,
Nope, I'm out.
nope. Or you can be like, all right,
Nope,
this would be
I'm
good.
out.
This would be good for the pod.
I've got a podcast friend and a swinger.
Yeah. Do we have anybody else? We'll do this one from Michael McClellan. It's a different show, but are you mentally prepared to discuss Karen's DUI police cam footage in the weeks ahead? Also, did you see Meredith's Jen Shaw update? I saw Meredith's Jen Shaw update. Yeah, she said she's doing great. She's doing great in prison. She's still in prison for defrauding the elderly. I don't give two fucks. I wish she would stop getting time taken off her sentence, but whatever. As far as Karen's DUI, yeah, I'm going to have a whole lot to say about that this week. Because after seeing the tapes, knowing the lack of accountability, is just deplorable.
That was a tough. I had to do that video in like 3 parts. It's a tough one to get through.
Yeah,
I don't like seeing anybody like that.
No, and people are like laughing at it and shit now. It's like it's not fucking funny, especially considering the fact that she turned a blind eye to it and is still fighting it, saying that the jury, she doesn't understand why the jury came to that decision. It's like, did you see the fucking videos, dude? How about the car that you wrapped around a tree? That car was fucking totaled. So yeah, I hated it. I think it's gross. I think that the fact that it's still being treated lightly is fucking stupid, but whatever. What do I know? Last one. 2 more from William D. Thoughts on the Summer House preview? I'm so excited for Summer House.
Yeah, I'm pumped for Summer House. I think it looks great.
Yeah, they got a good cast finally, a good recurring cast. They're bringing a lot of the people back. We're not going to have that awkward newbie coming in with Jesse and West.
But
yeah, but I'm saying the ones from last year carrying over pretty well. Even if you hate West, you're going to watch them. And, Jesse Solomon is just delightful.
Yep.
Last one. What do you think Meredith is really crying about? Oh, we answered that. Seth, her marriage. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Ohio and Seth and her marriage. And the fact that they're still hanging by a thread. Ryan says, I'm sad for Karen. I am too. But there's a certain point when you are watching these tapes and footage and did something like that and you still can't take accountability. You can be sad for her, but the lack of accountability, that's where the grace goes out the window. And you should know by now, anyone that listens to us, I will give you grace, especially with shit like this. But if you can't take accountability, especially in light of a guilty verdict, and then the body cam footage coming out, like it's hard to give her any kind of sympathy. I hope she figures it out. I hope that anyone going through something like that figures it out. But no, you're not going to see me like feeling bad for her. She needs to get her shit together. It's fucking insane that she can have those videos out and still take this stance. It's brutal. No shade to you, Ryan. I get what you're saying, but well, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
Well, to our members, thanks for coming out tonight. We will see you guys next week. Again, our schedule is going to be weird. We'll figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
As far as what we're covering, but we'll have some content for you, baby birds. Don't you worry. But other than that, you got anything else?
Nope.
No. BravBros are out of here.